What happens when the glamour of Hollywood masks the darkness lurking beneath its surface? Elizabeth Short, better known as the Black Dahlia, arrived in Los Angeles with nothing but dreams of stardom. But instead of breaking into the limelight, she found herself entangled in a web of shadows. Her life was tragically cut short in one of the most gruesome and mysterious murders the world has ever seen. But this story isn't just about a crime scene. It's about the hidden Hollywood world she was trying to enter. Tonight, we'll uncover the secret lives, the hidden figures, and the powerful forces that may have led to her tragic end. Before we get into the heart of this chilling mystery, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of the true crime stories that keep you on the edge of your seat. As we uncover the dark secrets buried deep in Hollywood's underbelly, we'll reveal shocking connections to some of the most famous figures in the industry. Stick around as we explore the hidden world that Elizabeth Short was trying to break into, and the suspects whose names have been left out of the spotlight for decades. Los Angeles, 1947, the city of dreams, where stars were born and the movie industry thrived in its golden age. The palm trees lined the streets of Hollywood, and the lights of TINSLETOWN cast a glow that promised fame, fortune, and excitement. Yet behind the glitz and glam, a darker side of the city pulsed. The same streets where hopefuls lined up to meet agents were also filled with shady characters, dangerous liaisons, and a nightlife that could swallow you whole if you weren't careful. For young women like Elizabeth Short, Los Angeles was a land of opportunity, but also one of hidden dangers. Aspiring actresses faced intense pressure, not just to make it, but to survive in a city that offered little mercy. Many, like Elizabeth, ended up in the bars and nightclubs of the city's seedy underbelly, where deals weren't made in studios, but in smoke-filled rooms. In these places, a smile could mean something far different than it did on the silver screen. And for Elizabeth Short, her beauty, her dark eyes, and striking features would draw attention from all the wrong people. Hollywood in the 1940s was a place of opportunity for young actresses, if they could make it. However, the reality was far less glamorous than the films projected. Women were often expected to pay their dues, sometimes in ways that didn't fit with the public's image of them. The pressure to succeed could drive people to do things they never imagined. Elizabeth, like many others, moved from one audition to the next, struggling to make a name for herself in a city that promised stardom but often left its hopefuls behind. She was seen at popular spots like the Crown Grill and the Saranac, where women mingled with wealthy men, some of whom could make or break their careers. But Elizabeth didn't just see Hollywood as her ticket to fame. She was a small-town girl from Massachusetts, searching for something more. And the City of Angels would soon show her its darker side, one she may never have seen coming. Elizabeth Short was just 22 when she arrived in Los Angeles, hoping to make a career in film. Described as having dark hair, pale skin, and striking blue eyes, she quickly gained attention for her unique beauty. She was the epitome of the femme fatale, captivating, mysterious, and alluring. But it was the nickname that would follow her for eternity, the Black Dahlia, a name that would come to symbolize both her dreams of stardom and her tragic fate. Short had made her way through Hollywood's social circles, but there was something about her that set her apart. She wasn't just another starlet in the making. Her dark and mysterious persona intrigued many, while also casting her in a dangerous light. Despite her short time in Hollywood, Elizabeth left an impression on the people she met. Little did they know, her story would be far darker than anyone imagined. Then there were the key figures in this case, the LAPD, who were tasked with investigating her murder, and a list of potential suspects that stretched from the known to the obscure. Among them was George Hodel, a figure whose name has been linked to the crime for years. Yet today, we won't focus on the usual suspects. Instead, we'll explore the connections Elizabeth had to the underworld of Hollywood, where powerful men, money, and secrets could control the fate of anyone who dared to dream. On the morning of January 15th, 1947, the body of Elizabeth Short was found in a vacant lot in Los Angeles. The discovery was as horrifying as it was shocking. Her body severed in half, drained of blood, with an eerie, haunting precision. Her body was posed, as if the killer wanted to send a message, a chilling reminder of the darkness lurking beneath the surface of the city. It was a scene that would haunt the city and would soon captivate the nation. The media frenzy that followed was immediate. Newspaper headlines screamed about the brutality of the crime, while the public was left to wonder who could have done such a thing. Investigators were quickly overwhelmed, the case becoming a tangled web of false leads, hoax confessions, and red herrings. The public had questions, lots of them, and in the coming days, more would come to light. But for now, all that was certain was the gruesome crime scene that left everyone stunned. From a moment Elizabeth Short's body was discovered, the media coverage exploded. Newspapers across Los Angeles rushed to print shocking headlines, calling her the Black Dahlia, in a nod to a popular noir film at the time, The Blue Dahlia, and her striking appearance. Reporters hounded the police, neighbors, and anyone remotely connected to the case. Her murder wasn't just local news. It quickly became a national fixation. The Los Angeles Police Department, faced with immense pressure, launched one of the largest investigations in city history. Hundreds of officers were assigned to the case. They interviewed more than 150 suspects and followed up on thousands of tips. Crime scene photographs were analyzed, and forensic teams combed over every detail. The medical examiner confirmed that Elizabeth had been severely beaten and cut in half with surgical precision. But despite the attention, progress was slow. Theories about the killer's motive ranged from a crime of passion to a planned execution. Some speculated that it was a statement, possibly linked to her relationships or a jealous rival. Others believed it was a random act of violence by someone passing through the city. The public wanted answers. The LAPD needed results. But the more they searched, the more the case seemed to spin in different directions. In the early days, anyone who had spoken to Elizabeth became a potential suspect. Letters flooded the LAPD headquarters from people claiming to have information, while others confessed outright, most of them hoaxes. One letter stood out. A man claiming to be the Black Dahlia Avenger mailed Short's personal belongings to the Los Angeles Examiner. Inside were her birth certificate, social security card, photographs, and an address book. The package was cleaned with gasoline, just like the body had been. The writer promised more. The tone was mocking. Several men came under suspicion. An ex-boyfriend, former landlords, nightclub acquaintances, even a traveling salesman. But every lead seemed to unravel. Interviews were held day and night. Witnesses gave conflicting accounts. The case grew colder with each passing week. One of the biggest obstacles in the investigation was the media itself. Reporters were constantly interfering, leaking witness names, twisting facts, and even misleading the victim's own mother. In one case, a journalist called Phoebe Short, Elizabeth's mother, claiming her daughter had won a beauty contest, just to get quotes before revealing the truth. The pressure to solve the case publicly led the LAPD to pursue hunches instead of solid leads. The media's sensationalism made it nearly impossible to keep facts straight. Every rumor became a headline. Every man who had ever dated Elizabeth was dragged into public scrutiny. A few pieces of evidence stood out, though. The mailed package containing Elizabeth's personal items couldn't be ignored. It suggested the killer had access to her belongings after her death. And then there was the photo, the one of Elizabeth and several men at a bar, just days before she was killed. That photo, widely circulated, sparked theories that one of them might have been involved. Yet no concrete links were ever made. Dozens of people came forward to say they had seen Elizabeth Short in the days before her death. She had been spotted at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown LA, where she had used the lobby phone and waited for someone who never arrived. She was also seen at various diners and nightclubs, often alone, sometimes with men whose names were never verified. One waitress recalled her looking tired and hungry. A cab driver claimed she'd taken a ride to Hollywood, but didn't remember where she got out. The interviews only added layers to the confusion. Some claimed she was meeting a secret boyfriend. Others insisted she was being watched. None of it could be fully confirmed, but a picture was starting to form. One that showed Elizabeth wasn't just another aspiring actress. She had connections, acquaintances, and perhaps enemies in places no one had expected. Some detectives began to question whether Elizabeth had stumbled upon something she shouldn't have. Others thought she might have been involved with someone powerful, someone with the means to silence her and keep others quiet. Rumors of Hollywood producers, doctors, and even law enforcement figures started to circulate. George Hodel, a well-connected physician with a dark past, became a later focus of the investigation. But at the time, there was no clear suspect that fit the crime. The more they learned about Elizabeth, the more complex her world became. She had charmed many, left others bitter, and moved from place to place with little stability. To some, she was vulnerable. To others, she was elusive. And for investigators, she remained a mystery, one wrapped in misleading statements, half-truths, and unanswered questions. The Black Dahlia case was growing colder, but in the shadows of Hollywood, rumors never stopped spreading. And someone, somewhere, knew exactly what had happened to Elizabeth Short. As investigators followed the trail of Elizabeth Short's life, they found something unsettling. Her story wasn't just that of a struggling actress hoping to make it big in Hollywood. It was one intertwined with the darker side of the city, a world few dared to acknowledge. Elizabeth, like many hopefuls, had frequented the nightclubs and bars of Los Angeles, places where actors, producers, and shady characters mingled behind the glamour. Her interactions weren't limited to just hopefuls like herself. Elizabeth was seen with influential figures, rumored to have been involved with wealthy and powerful men, some who operated in the shadows. There were whispers that she had connections to people deeply rooted in Hollywood's underworld. Among the names tossed around were not only producers and directors, but also famous actors like Kirk Douglas, a star whose own connections to some of the era's most powerful figures would later raise eyebrows. Was Elizabeth's dream of fame merely a facade, or had she become entangled in something far more sinister? The glamorous parties, the late-night gatherings, and the people who ran the clubs where Elizabeth was often seen, they all hinted at a hidden world she was stepping into. Some of the people she interacted with had ties to organized crime, others to Hollywood's elite, where the line between legitimate business and criminal activity was often blurred. Did Elizabeth unknowingly wander into dangerous territory? Could she have been more than just a victim of circumstance? This line of questioning points to a new theory, that Elizabeth's tragic death may have had less to do with her ambition than with her involvement with figures who were both powerful and dangerous. It's possible that her relationships led her down a dark path, one that intersected with people who wielded influence over not just the entertainment industry, but also the city's criminal underworld. These were people who could destroy lives without leaving a trace. Could Elizabeth have been silenced because she knew too much or was threatening someone with power? Maybe her death wasn't a random act of violence, but rather the result of someone wanting to protect a secret, a scandal, or a deal gone wrong. Some believe that Elizabeth was in the wrong place at the wrong time. A young woman who didn't realize the dangers lurking in a city that was both alluring and treacherous. But could have been more. Could she have crossed paths with someone who saw her as a threat to their hidden world? As the investigation continued, the case grew more tangled. New leads, however, only seemed to raise more questions. Suspects came and went, but none of them fit perfectly into the puzzle. The investigation, once so promising, soon hit a standstill. The more the police probed, the more the case seemed to unravel. Public pressure mounted, but no answers came. The media, once eager to report every detail, began to shift focus, and soon Elizabeth's case faded from the headlines, leaving behind only a trail of speculation. The twists kept coming, but each one led to a dead end. Was Elizabeth a victim of Hollywood's ruthless pursuit of fame, or had she become a casualty in a darker game played by powerful men who ruled from the shadows? The case, still unsolved to this day, left those closest to it searching for answers that may never come. As we look back at the evidence, one question looms large. Was Elizabeth Short simply another young woman lost in the machine of Hollywood's false promises? Or did she become another victim of a hidden world so dark and dangerous no one dared speak of it? Could her murder have been orchestrated by someone who thought they could silence her forever? Or was Elizabeth just one more casualty in a city where dreams are made and destroyed with equal ease? In the end, the mystery of Elizabeth Short remains unanswered and unresolved. The Black Dahlia's tragic end continues to haunt the streets of Los Angeles, as we're left to wonder, could the truth be far more chilling than we ever imagined? George Hodel's name has long been associated with the Black Dahlia case. A doctor with ties to Hollywood and a dark personal history, Hodel was once a prime suspect. While many still believe he may have been the killer, there are other angles that deserve closer attention. Was there someone else, someone closer to Elizabeth, who had more to lose from her growing presence in Hollywood? Elizabeth's life was surrounded by mystery and people who were more than willing to exploit her. She was seen with several men during her time in Los Angeles, some of whom were in positions of power. Some theories suggest that Elizabeth's relationships with these men may have made her a target. There's a possibility that someone close to her, maybe even someone she trusted, could have been behind her death, someone who might have seen her rise as a threat, not just to their own reputation, but to their secrets. Hollywood in the 1940s was a city of power, where deals weren't just made in boardrooms, but behind closed doors. The story of Elizabeth Short's murder could easily be linked to the web of secrecy within this world. In those days, the price of fame wasn't just hard work and talent. It involved navigating a maze of powerful men, directors, and producers who controlled the careers of aspiring actresses like Elizabeth. Some of these men, with their influence in Hollywood's entertainment industry, could have easily held sway over more than just film sets. It's possible that Elizabeth's connections to this circle, whether real or rumored, made her a threat. The theory that her murder was a result of a darker conspiracy designed to silence her as she moved closer to success can't be dismissed. Elizabeth's association with these powerful figures, whether she sought their help or simply crossed paths with them, may have been the reason she found herself in the dangerous position she was in. For someone like Elizabeth, the pressure to succeed in Hollywood could have been overwhelming. She was just one of many young women who arrived in Los Angeles with dreams of stardom. But she had something else that set her apart: her beauty and her dark, mysterious persona. But as much as she may have wanted success, her relationships may have led her into increasingly dangerous circles. Elizabeth's desperate ambition could have driven her to accept offers from men who saw her as a pawn, a way to get what they wanted in exchange for promises of fame and opportunity. Some believe that her rise in Hollywood, as brief as it was, might have uncovered uncomfortable truths for certain figures who had a stake in keeping things quiet. Was her murder the result of a simple desire for stardom, or was it tied to something far more sinister? An unwillingness to let a woman like Elizabeth disrupt the balance of power? Another theory points to a more personal motive. Elizabeth's relationships weren't just about ambition. Some speculated that her murder may have been driven by love and betrayal. She had been seen with several men, some of whom may have felt scorned by her. Was there someone who, after being spurned or rejected by Elizabeth, saw her as a threat to their own image or status? Was it a jealous lover or someone she had become involved with professionally who felt betrayed by her ambitions? As Elizabeth's brief time in Hollywood unfolds, one thing becomes clear. Her connections and relationships were far more complicated than anyone realized. The more she tried to climb the social ladder, the more she seemed to uncover hidden aspects of the industry's darker side. Was Elizabeth simply a victim of a city that promised fame but delivered only pain? Or did her pursuit of stardom lead her straight into a world of deception, betrayal, and eventual tragedy? Her rise in Hollywood, coupled with her mysterious allure, may have been the final trigger for someone who couldn't afford to let her become a star. Was Elizabeth too close to the truth? Had her ambition exposed secrets better left untouched? The answer to these questions may hold the key to understanding what truly happened to the Black Dahlia. As the layers peel back, one thing is certain. Her death was more than just a random act. It was part of a much larger, darker narrative. As the investigation into Elizabeth Short's murder continued, the case began to reveal unsettling connections to a world that most people preferred to ignore: the seedy underbelly of Hollywood. Was it possible that Elizabeth had gotten too close to the powerful figures who controlled the city's most valuable secrets? New evidence, once buried under the weight of Hollywood's influence, suggested that her death might not have been a random act of violence. Could there have been a cover-up, orchestrated to protect the influential figures she was linked to? The rumors that Elizabeth had secret knowledge about Hollywood's inner workings began to surface. She had moved in circles where ambition, power, and corruption intertwined. It wasn't just about making it into films for Elizabeth. It was about navigating a world of hidden scandals, where powerful men and women shaped the industry and kept things just beneath the surface. Elizabeth's connections to some of Hollywood's elite, people whose names carried weight, may have made her more of a target than a hopeful actress. Her life may have been a ticking time bomb, The more she ventured into the shadows of Tinseltown, the more she may have uncovered. The lines between ambition and danger were thin, and Elizabeth may have been a threat to those who wanted to keep Hollywood's darkest secrets hidden. The question remains, did her murder happen because she had stumbled too close to these secrets? New testimonies began to surface, shedding light on what Elizabeth's life may have truly been like. Some were subtle. Witnesses who had spoken with her in the days before her death revealed that Elizabeth was in higher spirits, almost as if she had something to look forward to, a breakthrough perhaps. But there were others, more troubling, that painted a different picture. A former friend of Elizabeth's, who had been present during some of her late-night encounters in Hollywood, claimed that Elizabeth had been talking about meeting with a powerful figure just days before she was killed. According to this friend, Elizabeth had confided that she knew something about this person, something that could ruin their career and reputation. Did Elizabeth's knowledge of these dangerous secrets lead her to be silenced? Another individual, a close acquaintance from one of Hollywood's exclusive nightclubs, revealed that Elizabeth had once overheard a conversation involving influential figures in the industry. She had been in the wrong place at the wrong time, hearing things that she shouldn't have. Was this the trigger that set everything in motion? While no confessions have ever been confirmed, the chilling idea that Elizabeth's life may have ended to protect the powerful people she was connected to looms large. As the years pass and more information comes to light, we can only ask, did the truth behind Elizabeth Short's murder lie in the darkness of Hollywood's most closely guarded secrets? Were the men and women she trusted more dangerous than she realized? The Black Dahlia case has remained one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries in American history. Despite the LAPD's exhaustive investigation, decades of interviews, and thousands of tips, the killer was never identified, and the case has since become a symbol of both Hollywood's allure and its darkest secrets. For Elizabeth Short's family, the lack of resolution has been a constant pain, with no closure or justice for the brutal and senseless murder of their loved one. They were left to wonder what happened in those final days of her life, and why she had to meet such a tragic end. For Hollywood, the Black Dahlia murder left a permanent scar. The city of dreams, where stars are made, was now also a city where nightmares could unfold in the shadows. The investigation that followed the murder became a media circus, with sensational headlines and conflicting theories about the killer. Over the years, Hollywood's public image has evolved, but the shadow of Elizabeth Short's death continues to linger. The case and the questions surrounding it serve as a grim reminder of the price of fame, the dangers of the industry, and the hidden world of power and corruption just out of view. After more than 7 decades, the case remains open, though officially unsolved. Over the years, the LAPD has reopened the investigation multiple times, but each effort has led to more dead ends and breakthroughs. Many theories have emerged, ranging from the involvement of infamous figures like George Hodel, a suspect whose name has been linked to the case for decades, to theories involving multiple suspects, including individuals from Hollywood's darker side. As of today, the LAPD's investigation remains inactive, with no new significant evidence coming to light. While there are still theories and occasional public interest in the case, the chances of finding new information diminish as the years pass. Yet, the case continues to captivate the public's imagination, often discussed in books, documentaries, and podcasts. Every new lead or theory, no matter how far-fetched, reignites the belief that one day, the truth may be revealed. The Black Dahlia murder shaped not only the public perception of Hollywood, but also of the people who inhabited it. The line between the glamorous world of movies and the dangerous underworld that lurked just beyond the spotlight became blurred. Elizabeth Short was just another hopeful, another young woman trying to break into Hollywood. But her tragic end showed how quickly dreams could turn into nightmares in a city that often favored power over safety. The case also changed the way people viewed the intersection of fame and danger. Hollywood was no longer just a place where stars were born. It became a place where people could disappear into the shadows, where the wrong person could take someone's life and vanish into the depths of the industry. The Black Dahlia's murder exposed the darker side of the American dream, a place where not everyone who sought fame made it out unscathed. It left the world wondering how far people would go to protect their secrets and what might be lurking beneath the shiny surface of fame. Elizabeth Short's story is a tragic reminder of how ambition, fame, and secrecy can intersect in ways that lead to devastating consequences. It's a case that remains unsolved, yet continues to haunt the public's imagination, shaping the legacy of a Hollywood that is forever intertwined with both dreams and despair. The Black Dahlia case remains one of the most chilling and unresolved mysteries in American history. Despite years of investigation, thousands of leads, and countless theories, the truth about Elizabeth Short's murder still eludes us. Some believe the killer was someone close to her. Others think the crime was linked to powerful figures in Hollywood, and some still argue that a man like George Hodel may have been involved. Each theory holds pieces of truth, but none have provided definitive answers. What we do know is that Elizabeth Short was a young woman with big dreams, trying to make it in a city that promises stardom, but offers few guarantees. In the end, her aspirations, her beauty, and her ambition may have led her to cross paths with people who would end her life in such a brutal way. While many details of her murder remain unproven, one thing is clear: Elizabeth's death was not a random act. It was the result of a much darker world, one filled with secrets, power, and betrayal. When we look at Elizabeth's story, it's impossible to ignore the larger implications of her death. Was she just another casualty of Hollywood's broken promises? A young woman caught in a system that chews up and spits out those who are unprepared for its brutal reality? Or does her tragic end represent something more? A warning of the dangerous obsession with fame that still exists today, where ambition and exploitation collide. Her murder highlights the risk that comes with chasing stardom in a place where appearances are everything, and where success can sometimes require compromising more than just your morals. Elizabeth Short was not just a victim of a heinous crime. She was also a symbol of the dangerous allure of Hollywood, a city that holds out promises of fame, but can quickly turn on those who fail to fit into its mold. Elizabeth's story, still unresolved, serves as a reminder that the world of fame and power can have dark consequences. The search for justice may never fully reveal what happened to the Black Dahlia, but her death continues to echo in the mysteries and secrets of Hollywood. Do you think we've uncovered the true story of Elizabeth Short? Or is there more to the case that hasn't been revealed? Let us know your theories in the comments below. Could the truth finally be out there? Or will this mystery continue to haunt Hollywood's dark past? If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Hollywood's most mysterious cases, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more chilling stories. Stay tuned for the next one, because the secrets we uncover are just the beginning. Thank you for watching. We appreciate your time and your engagement with these stories. Your thoughts and theories bring this case to life, so keep the conversation going in the comments. Be sure to join us next time for another true crime story that might just change everything you thought you knew. Until then, stay curious and stay safe.